As far as I can tell, Michael, you have a last name that cannot be mispronounced.
It is. I agree. Hobby is pretty. I mean, Hobby Lobby. I mean, everybody's heard of it.
Right.
Hobby.
That's what I'm saying, because I've had my name mispronounced. I've had Tomas or Thomas, right?
No, it's Thomas.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I've had people mispronounce it. But I'm just saying,
you've had people
mispronounce it.
Oh, Hobie.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Hobie is one. Yeah. That's about the only thing you can. And hobby, like everybody always asks. Sometimes, like if you're on like a, some kind of like support call, or like customer service call, and they're like HOPPY, and I'm like, no, hobby.
The best thing about that,
Hobie.
it gives you it right off the bat. You know the intelligence you're working with.
I'll try not to judge, but
no, you don't have to judge out loud, but you damn sure judge inside your head. I know you.
Yeah, you kind of you kind of know what you're about to deal with. So
how are you? How's the family? How's Caroline? How's the girls?
Man, everybody's great. Caroline's awesome. Little girl's growing up fast. She's a lot of fun. She's almost 5, so she's at a great age.
It is.
Caroline's great. We got we're just rocking and rolling. Travel plans. They're going on the road with me a little bit. They get to they pick all the fun stuff, which is great, just the way I want it. But like we're going to Spain for a few shows, and Caroline's like,
one of my best friends moved to Portugal, and so you got to come see it.
Awesome. I've never been to Portugal. I'd love to go to Portugal. I've never been to Spain either. So.
But I kind of like the music. I hear the ladies are insane there.
Okay,
and they sure know how to use it.
Michael, don't
Horn Axton, baby.
Gary's going.
Let's go with Horn Axton. They don't abuse it. Ain't never going to lose it. I can't refuse it.
Okay. Yeah, it just went off the rails.
Listen, if you haven't ever listened and never been to Spain, you need to go look at it. It was a Three Dog Night hit, but it was written by country music legend Hoyt Axton.
Yeah. It was good.
I did not know that. I knew Three Dog Night. My parents listened to Three Dog Night growing up. My mom had a bunch of Three Dog Night vinyls that she gave me.
That's painful, Michael.
Yeah,
that's painful for us.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey,
there's nothing wrong with Three Dog Night.
You are not sending me to Shambhala right now.
Your
I am
parents
not doing Shambhala. I tell you right, one is the longest number.
My brothers, how about that? No.
Okay.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. 2 can be as bad as 1, but the loneliest number is the number 1. That's songwriting right there.
Yeah. Gary, you celebrate the whole catalog. I mean, you got this down.
I love all kinds of music. And I've been such a fan of country music. I mean, longer than you've been alive. And that doesn't hurt my feelings either. But that's what I love. I love about the new sounds. When you guys came out, I love that you had this sound, this smoke. Smoke didn't sound like anything else I had heard. And I live for that, right? That you've got this voice and you guys have this sound. And Julie and I were talking a while ago. You know what else we love? This ain't no drunk dial.
Yeah, and we can't decide. Yeah. We can't decide which one to play. I want drunk dial. He wants smoke. I don't know. You might have to break the tie.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe. I guess play smoke.
Look, even he struggled with it.
Here's the good news. We'll play this interview twice. So we'll play Smoke the first time, and this ain't no drunk dial the second time.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, all right, there we go.
Because maybe throw a new one in there.
We will play the new one. We'll play the new one before we come out of this. We'll come out with the new one, and we start.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, we'll start it with the new one. So there you go.
We'll be there on that. But it's just kind of fun. Do you have guys what are you going to do in Spain? I mean, besides have paella.
We're playing this Her Casa Country Music Festival. We're doing that, and then we're playing a club theater show after that, and then apparently our manager said that we're the Running with the Bulls.
You are not doing that. You have a child.
I'm not running with them.
Okay.
But
we're supposed to play some event for that.
Okay, yeah.
As well, in Pamplona.
As long as you're at on the stage and not anywhere someone can chase you.
Well, I don't know I know a few guys that have ran with the Bulls, and they said it's definitely something you do when you're 21, but not when you're a dad and you're a little older.
No.
My father-in-law wants to come run. He wants to do it. But his wife won't let him.
Yeah, because she's smart.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not, if it presents itself, I may jump in there.
Michael, this is an IQ test, and I'm hoping you and your father-in-law don't fail it. I'm hoping. I mean, because how will you ever tell your daughter no? Because she's going to go, yeah, well, you ran with the Bulls, hot dog.
That's true. There's a bigger picture here, Garrett. I appreciate you painting that.
I'm just saying, at some point, you got to go, I mean, it's like, here's the thing. Jelly Roll or Post Malone never get to say a word to their kids about tattoos. They don't.
That's a fact.
So so when she comes up to you at 12 and says, I want a tattoo right here, it says, I was stupid. You're going to go, what?
Yeah.
I'm just I'm throwing that out there just so. Speaking of your kid, have you had any parental surprises yet? What surprises you about being dad when it came to kid that, you thought you knew, but you didn't know? If you could go back 6 years and say, hey, Michael, let me tell you something.
Man, I knew nothing really. I mean, just the idea of what it was like. I guess one thing, and now this will sound cheesy, but you guys will get it. But man, the love that how your heart grows. Everybody says oh, it'll grow. And you're like, oh, whatever. But I mean, that's watching her learn and have an influence on teaching her things and her imagination. The childlike freedom and curiosity and imagination is that's such a cool thing to do. She's my buddy, man. I mean, we have this thing. She loves identifying things like bugs or rocks or plants. She always got questions. So I have all these identifier apps on my phone that I subscribe to. Just earlier today, we were waiting on Caroline. She was doing something and there was all these bugs outside. And she's like, Dad, what are these bugs? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, see if you got one of those bug identifier things like the rock thing that we do. And sure enough, there was an app for it. So I downloaded it and we just sat outside on the sidewalk, identifying bugs, figuring out what they are. So that's fun, man.
See,
she's the best.
Now the bad thing about that is it's you are not learning how to do the parental lie where you just make it up. Well, that's a Calamang right there. That's they came here from Taiwan.
Well, here's the thing. I try to tell her this stuff. There was a cockroach today, and I was like, "That's a cockroach." She's like, "How do you know?" And I was like,
I grew up in South Carolina. What do you mean? How do I know?
Yeah, I know. She's like, well, let's look it up. I want to know. And I was like, I'm telling you, this is, and this is where I'm just like, well, let's just look it up. She can't read that it says American cockroach.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But if I just show it, that's another hack. You just show it to them when they can't read. And you're like, look, that's what it says. They're like, okay.
And that's the thing. And as they get older, because I have a 14 and a 12-year-old, what they do is you just can't say anything anymore. You can't go, Barry Bonds hit 73 home runs. And they're like, no, they're going to check. And they'll go, oh, he did hit 73 home runs. So
yours got phones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but they don't get social media and they can't take the phone upstairs and it's my phone. My son found out today that I pick up their phone all the time and I go through it. But I also give them the option. They have the access code to my phone. And I'm like, anytime you want to pick it up and go through my phone, feel free to. I've got no problem. You can ask for it on demand. Hey, Dad, let me see your phone. Here you go. But we try
That's fair.
But what helps is I've got a son at sport camp today. Well, it makes it a lot easier for him to have the phone there in case something goes wrong. Right?
Yeah.
So that's when we started doing that. But yes, they will look me up in a heartbeat. So when you sit back and go, back when the Warriors won their first championship, what year was that? I don't even try to lie anymore. Where 5 years ago, I would have said, 2016.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, Dad, that's not right. Yeah. That's tricky. That's tricky. We got no phones right now, but
well, they didn't get it until they were 12 and 13, right?
Well, I'll say if you say something like, well, why? Well, why? And you're like, well, just because. well, why? Because I mean, and I'm like, my little girl, like she's on it. Like, I mean, you gotta explain it, and if you don't explain it to where she makes sense, she's like, I don't know, Dad.
Well, and the fun thing of it is we all live such a weird life. You live a weirder life than I do, right? But because they're not going to be used to having, well, we go backstage. Our dad does this, or this famous person comes over. Our mom's doing her podcast with so and so's wife, and we're and all these people are here and stuff, and they start thinking that's kind of normal, and then they go through that phase where they start understanding how weird it is, right? Because my sons will do stuff like somebody said something. They saw me out the other day, and they're like, "Hey," and came up and said hello, and my 14-year-old looks at me, he goes, "Does that ever stop being weird?" And I'm like, "No."
No, kind of part of life. It's what we all signed up for.
Exactly. And these people allow us to have a really cool life. So Dad's always going to stop and talk to them and say thank you. But is it weird? Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I guess outside looking in, one thing that happened really cool the other day, for speaking of that, for my daughter, is we were playing the Grand Ole Opry, and Lily Rose was getting that was her first Opry performance, which was really cool. But Kelsea Ballerini was there to walk her on stage. And my daughter, she didn't know who Kelsea Ballerini was, but she saw the big dress and the blonde, she looked gorgeous. And my daughter was like, I want to meet her. And I was like, and I've known Kelsea, for 10 years. And I was like, well, yeah, she would love to meet you. So anyways, Sonny got to meet her, and Kelsea was so sweet, and they took a picture, and she listened to Kelsea all the way home, and it was like one of those things. And I thought that same thing. I was like, this is a different world for a little girl. And she side stage at the Grand Ole Opry, like, doing cartwheels. And I'm like, this is just not, this is not normal.
I have to say, my son, when he was about 10, he loved Toby Keith. Love Toby Keith.
Yeah.
And he said, Mom, wouldn't it be great if you could meet him? And I'm like, honey, are you aware of what I do for a living?
Yeah.
Of course you could meet him.
I got to do my son. He's a big basketball fan, and he goes, "Hey, Dad, have you ever met Steph Curry?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You want to know something cool?" He goes, "What?" I said, "You did too." He goes, "What?" I said, "You're about 18 months old, and I was in a room with Steph, and he was playing with you. He goofed around and played with you." And he goes, "I got Steph Curry?" And I'm like, he goes, yeah. And he goes, "That's so cool." I said, "But you don't remember it."
Yeah, you don't remember it. It's a wild world, man. We're lucky that, that they get to experience all that stuff,
Yeah.
I love it doing it.
It's fun. That
is pretty cool.
How does she eat? Does she eat well? Does she eat everything, or
she does?
Yeah. Okay. Well, enjoy that ride, because it'll be over soon. I'm just throwing out.
Yeah. Does it get worse?
God. Yes. And
she's a chocolate freak.
Oh, well, my son, I had this argument with him the other day. We were talking about going to get a hamburger, and he goes, "Oh, I don't want to go there." And I said, "Dude, you eat bun, meat, bun. I do not care where you want to go, because we can get that anywhere. The rest of us want to go for the toppings. You, no, you will just go wherever we take you. And that's it."
You will eat what you get.
Yeah, I have to ask you this. I got to go to this, because we asked I do a Facebook question. I said, "What food makes you angry?" And I told myself, I'm going to ask Michael Hobby, what food do you hate so much that it makes you angry?
Oh man, hate so much.
Go ahead and tell him yours, Julie.
Peas.
Yeah.
Blech.
Peas? But like frozen peas or canned peas?
I don't care, Michael. I don't care. Peas.
Oh man, I love canned peas. Canned peas are good, man.
Oh, that's nasty. Canned peas might be the worst.
So there's nothing when you sit on the menu, you go, no, I'll never order this.
I'm trying to think. I've being on the road your whole life, you kind of, you don't get to be picky, a lot of times. I used to not like bell peppers. Yeah, bell peppers I usually steer clear from. I'll eat them now because I don't care, but there's something about the taste of a bell pepper that cucumbers. I don't like
There
cucumbers.
you go.
Either.
We found the food that makes Michael Hobby angry. Cucumbers.
There you go. Cucumbers.
We've had
Like
people
if you brought me a cucumber salad, I'd starve. Like, I can't do it, man.
You know, if we don't live a good life,
weird.
if we don't live a good life, me, you, and Julie are going to end up at a buffet in hell, and all it's going to be is cucumber salad, canned peas, and lamb. That's all there's going to be.
Well, we'd be fine. I love lamb and peas.
No.
Yeah, but we wouldn't get to share each other's food. That's
shit. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good. Is yours lamb?
I hate lamb.
Is yours lamb, Garrett?
I hate
lamb. Yeah, his is lamb. He hates
and
lamb.
I've tried it. I see there's things that I call conversion foods: lamb, salmon, and whiskey. And if you tell people you don't like them, they'll go, "But you'll like this. You'll like this." And I'm like, no, I'm a grown damn man. I have a pretty good idea of what I like and I don't like. And
that's good.
I have tried everything. I've tried $5,000 bottles of whiskey. Honestly, I've had lamb, and I'm like, no. Now I have learned to like sushi, salmon, but only in sushi. I like lamb raw. I mean, not lamb, salmon.
Salmon raw.
I don't want it
raw lamb. Raw lamb, like a real caveman, just tearing it up. Oh, what I was looking for is my bottle, my number one bottle, my hot sauce bottle.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I usually have all those things set up, because I've kept it, and but my wife rearranged my office with all that stuff, and I'm like, where's
your wife is like my wife. My wife, I've been in the middle of cooking something and turned around to grab my spatula and it's gone. And I'm like, what? And she goes, I put it away. I thought you were doing. And I'm like, what are you? I'm cooking.
That happens every day of my life. Something gets picked up and cleaned, and like a cup. Don't leave a cup around. Like if you go, you fill up a cup, you got a drink, you finish it, or you don't even finish it. You just set it down, and then you're doing something else. Like gone. You might as well get you a new cup.
My wife and Caroline would be best friends. Trust me, and they'd have the cleanest damn cabinet in the world.
Cleanest house.
Yeah. Michael, can't wait. If you get a chance, load the girls up, bring them out. Hope to see you soon.
I want to tell you why I am all in on Bison Junk. First and foremost, they are a full-service, eco-friendly junk removal company, but with this difference. They focus on recycling and donating usable goods. Their customer service sets them apart, and they pride themselves on their integrity. They'll show up when they say they will, and they'll do what they promise. If you have hard-to-remove items like hot tubs or large furniture, they figure it out so you don't have to. They want to be who you always come back to when it's time to declutter and organize your home or business. They're worth every penny at bisonjunk.com. It's time to think differently when it comes to your parties, meetings, and groups. The catering from Havana Cuba restaurant in downtown San Jose. Instead of the same old, how about the most delicious Cuban sandwich you've ever had? You're tired of fries? Plantains, my friends, they'll change your world. And here's something you didn't know. Havana Cuba was voted one of the top 10 tamales in the entire South Bay. They have vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options, and their website is 998cuba.com. They're located at 387 South 1st Street in downtown San Jose. It's Havana Cuba.